Welcome. Welcome and hello. Glad that you have decided to hobby alongside me today. I've got some really neat models. These are from Beholder Miniatures. They are fantastic Stormcast Eternal proxies. We're going to be seeing if we can get these glued up. I have the winged ones. I have the guys who need the shield right here. Chose the helmet versions because those are going to be easier to paint. So if you've got some models that you want to get painted, you want to do alongside, and that would be great. Ooh, I've got lots of these. These here are going to need wings, which they're going to be pretty cool, putting wings on them. I'll try to do them next. See if we can't try to do our shield guys first, because they will be simple. I think we can try to get in some wins. And then we have a leader here who has multiple parts. This will be fun. She's got lots of parts. Got a hammer for her. Two hammers for her. We won't need those. I seem to remember that print not working at first. And she has a spear as well. So we'll get to her in a bit. Put you off to the side as well. Oh, good. I've got my dinner cooking, or it's going to start cooking here in a little bit, I should say. Now this was fun. Okay, so this guy here, this stance. You see how his print failed. You see this line right here. Let me hold it up a little bit better. Whoop, there you go. He for some reason started just printing all right there. That was fun. So lost a foot. This is what it's supposed to be. And this is the fail. So I kind of want to keep him around, maybe for bits. Maybe I can rescue him. I don't know. Got a foot. Possibilities. Okay, we got shields for days, man. Shields, shields, shields. We've got 2 units of 3 for these ones. And we got all their shields. So we'll be able to get those put together. And that'll be great. If you come along and join, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know what you need to get hobby in soon. I have found this Gorilla Super Glue Gel. This stuff has been really helpful getting resin to glue together. It's been just the best. Really, really helpful. And so you're supposed to shake vigorously and then tap to get it to go down into the tube here. And I've just had the hardest time finding a glue that works well on a resin. And I've tried to, make it better by spray painting some of these models first and then gluing them together, and that's worked okay. However, in this circumstance, I found this one to work all right. So we're going to see how it works with this army. Hey-oh. I found the spear for my general lady. I'm going to need that later. Okay. I heard the oven ding. So 2 shakes. Be right back. I got to throw in something. when you are streaming and in charge of dinner. It's lasagna tonight. So, I say I'm in charge of dinner, and here I am snacking too. Hungry. Okay. Let's see if we can't get some of these guys together. And I'll take my little pen here and just knock out some of these supports that have stuck around. I have my razor blade around somewhere. However, I'm not sure where it is at the moment. There we go. As I do that, I see, well, this guy also has a leg. These are my two weird legs. It's weird that it did it in the same print, the same guy. I wonder, okay, so I have other legs from Lady here. Man, I wonder, I just really hate to lose that whole model. I wonder if I could work something out. Okay, well, looks like I need to do some more work on that, which we can. Hey, puppy. Dog just came in from outside too. It is hot out there. Man, it is so hot. Living in South Texas definitely puts some perspective on how hot places are. I was talking with a friend the other day from Indiana. They said that it was something ridiculous, like 75 degrees for their summer experience so far. And I was just mad. It just makes me mad. Alright, so I'm going to turn the camera a bit more this way, because it seems like that's what I'm trying to do with my hands. I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing here. Alright. Got my shields over there. You're all set up. Got these guys here. Let's try to see how this is going to work. Okay, yep, we got Jill coming in there. There you go. These shields are really cool too. Shield on. There's a little notch in there that we've got. I'm trying to match up and line up. There it is. Really just kind of feel for it. Let it sit. Let it dry. Oh man. Starting to get in there. If you haven't yet, I'd love for you to watch my first Grimdark firefight video. Put that up a little while ago. And put it up yesterday. And it was good fun doing a smaller battle report. I really like doing the big ones. Hear me. They're really fun. But doing a small one like that was just a blast. And so if you enjoy battle reports, you can go check that out. It would be great. And here, leave a comment if you can or want, and just let me know. I really like filming those battle reports. That's a lot of fun. Getting to play with the miniatures that I paint and that I make. Which do you prefer? Long or short? I prefer glue that works, and it is not happening right now. I talked it up. I don't know if this is going to happen. We're going to see here how this is going. Oh my gosh, if you have a recommendation too for a glue that works really well with resin, please tell me. Would love to know. Nope. All right, I'm gonna try second application here. Try again. More stuff in there. Do you need to shake vigorously? Oh. Last thing I want is for like, there you go, there it is. Super glue to go just all over the place. One dab, square inch. 10 to 45 seconds. All right. Put this down here and make 10 to 45 seconds happen. What's been fun has been playing a lot of the futuristic battles like Grimdark Future. That's been really fun. I've enjoyed that. But that's not my norm, which is funny. I am much more into, or historically have played, the fantasy games a lot more than the futuristic ones. And so for me, it's been fun to be like a little bit outside of my comfort zone and what I'm used to, in order to get to play a different game. So I'm looking forward to doing some Age of Fantasy battle reports. Hence the Eternal Wardens / Stormcast Eternals, because that's what they are. Or they proxy as. And so I'm really looking forward to that. But we got to get some more armies painted up in order to do that. Alright, that's been about 45. How are we doing? Nope. It's going to fail me, I think, again. Oh no. I am concerned about this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It glued my finger, but it didn't glue the shield itself. Yeah, still, I think I might have oversold this to you, and since I said it out loud, it's not doing what I thought it was going to do in the first place. This glue was great, I thought. I told myself. All right, let me do this. Let me try the age-old method of setting it down in place. I have done so many things in order to try to get these resin models to glue right. I've used that blue tape. I've used like blue tack. Hey, Brian. Yes, I did resin print all of these. These are all resin printed. Dude, I gotta say, I appreciate you commenting on stuff. It's fun to interact with you on the shorts and things like that. You're a good dude. Yeah, these are all resin printed. I'm trying to up my my fantasy armies that I have so that I can do some Age of Fantasy battle reports. In order to do that, I need minis that are put together. In order to do that, I need it to stick. Okay. Yep, definitely sticking to my thumb. Definitely not sticking to the miniature. Okay, we're gonna move on. I have tried using resin as my adhesive. That is the thing that I have done. I've done that on a couple pieces and have had some good success. It's just hard to do on stream with a UV flashlight. I don't own one of those. The only UV light that I have is the little UV light that's underneath my resin printer in my like curing area, my curing station. I should probably invest in a UV flashlight, is what I'm hearing you say. And I think that would probably save me some headaches and heartaches along the way, because let me tell you, this is frustrating. Like this is the part of the hobby when like it doesn't work like you want it to, and it just feels a little frustrating not getting it to stick. Plus I guess I could be on screen here where I'm a little mask with some resin doing the thing. I guess I'm just trying to figure out how to hobby stream that stuff, or maybe just don't hobby stream that stuff. Fast as lightning. Oh man, would that be great? I would love. I'm glad it works for you. I think I may do that instead of trying to do this. I really had high hopes that the glue is going to work, because I can't remember what I had glued with this stuff before, what models I had glued with this that worked really well, but it is just not. It is not happening right now, and man, it's a little frustrating. You know what? I think we're gonna, because one of the things, and Brian, I appreciate this too, is these angels, these Valkyries is what they are in. Oh, what is the Beholders is who did these miniatures on my mini factory. These wings would be just a pain to put on without something being quick, because I have these little slots in their back here, these really tiny slots on the wings themselves, and to do anything that's not quick and, you know, having to sit here with each individual wing would just probably be a real big pain. So I think I'm going to take your advice, Brian, and get me a UV flashlight instead of trying to do this, because this is the pits right here. I talked a good game, Gorilla Super Glue Gel. I wanted you to work well. You're not sponsoring the video. It was just a hobby tool that I had. So I think, okay, instead of that, I'm going to paint, which I like doing anyways. So, hey, that's going to be fine. I think painting up some of these guys is going to be great. That's what I was, okay, so I was always thinking like, okay, I have one hand here. You said something like that, you've always ended up with a UV light in your mouth. Yeah, that makes sense. Because you have one hand here holding this and one hand here holding this. You take the resin, you paint it on with a little paintbrush. You put it here. Yeah, and then you have to make the resin do its thing. Well, you can't do that if your hands are occupied. Clips, hobby clips, I haven't invested in any of those. I've heard they've been fun. I've heard other people have done it. I just have not. Okay, this is great, but it means that I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and instead of gluing these guys together, I'm going to paint a little bit, which, let's be real, I enjoy painting. All right, Stormcast Eternals, we're going to have to wait on you for a little bit longer and get that resin. Brian, question for you. When you do that, are you using a mask, like protecting yourself? Is that the thing that you are doing when you have the UV flashlight? Okay. What was a super gluing stream has turned into a painting stream, and I hope you're not mad about that. I have loved these Human Defense Force guys. Oh, just a little bit. You normally have just a little bit in the bottle cap. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I don't feel like that would be too rough to be around or a part of. Okay. No, that makes sense. All right. Did I bring up? Almost. This is just professional hobby streaming right here. I need my little paper towel for my brush. Right back. He said, you've ruined a couple brushes that got in the light. That makes sense. I believe that. Because if you are trying to get things painted, trying to like make the resin work, yeah, you'd be having a hard time there. Now here's what they don't want you to know. Is that craft paint's fine. I have been using craft paint on these guys. I have used craft paint probably exclusively on my armies when I have painted them, and I hold no regrets. There have been a few metallics that I've bought, metallic paints, to get my miniatures to work out that way. Most of the time, I use craft paints, and I have not regretted it yet. Especially since, oh no, different thing. I need a little bit more light. Ooh. It's gonna make me orange over there, but we'll get there. Especially since being able to get so many different armies all together, I feel like it would take me so much to purchase all the correct quote-unquote paints, and my goodness, I just don't want to do that. We're on a budget, and so using craft paints has been really simple, really easy. I've found that most of them I can thin down enough with just water, and it works. It works great. My daylight here. I got that painted up here. So when I was playing with the High Elf fleets, that battle report, High Elf fleets versus the Blessed Sisters one, I had some High Elves with their indirect fire, their big artillery pieces, and man, was that brutal in One Page Rules Grimdark Future. So I'm interested how my little mortar guy is going to go with him. And there goes my... I'm in the middle of cooking supper, so be right back. Supper time. was muted. Now I know. Brian said you dropped the mummified undead archer, broke the bow, and you tried resin gluing it for the first time, and you ended up dropping it again and it survived. That's great. I've done that right out of the vat. You know, when you're pulling it off the supports, the miniature off the supports, and something breaks. And so I have done that because my resin curing light is like right there. So that's super easy for me to grab a brush, put it in the resin, glue the thing, and then get it right back to where I need it to go. Yeah, so any model that I've had to do that with has been fine. And that has been, I should probably do that. So that's what I'm going to do to get those Stormcast Eternals all glued together and working, is do the resin gluing method so that they are going to be ready to go. Brian, which do you play more, or do you find yourself playing more, fantasy or sci-fi, when you are doing the wargaming? Which do you find yourself doing more of? Because I have become a futuristic battle report channel so far, but that's not my norm, my go-to. It's just the models that I had printed up first. Age of Fantasy. Yep. Me too. I have so many points of Empire in the closet right here behind me. There's so many Empire miniatures in there. Cities of Sigmar, if you will. I'm really excited about busting them out here soon. I'd love to play. I think the idea is to get some of those little armies painted up for skirmish as well. Do some Age of Fantasy skirmish fights and do some reports there on that, and then work up to the Age of Fantasy battles. That would be really fun. So just bought. I am in the middle of also painting an ogre army that One Page Rules did they just finished their promotion with Titan Forge and Archvillain Games, and I bought an ogre army. Yeah, I was sad when they blew up the world of Warhammer Fantasy as well. I didn't think I was going to like Age of Sigmar. I played it, and I have played it a couple times, especially with my kids. And I've enjoyed it to a point when I've played it. I've enjoyed it to a degree. But, as I found with One Page Rules, man, I just really enjoyed wargaming, and it didn't have to be Warhammer wargaming, right? It could be other wargaming. What I'd like to do is, I do have it set up. I have the army set up down in my garage. My dog's shaking. I'd like to play an Age of Fantasy Regiments and see how that works out. So that'd be really fun to do. Get Age of Fantasy Regiments kind of ready to go. I've seen a couple battle reports with that done, and it just looks fun. It reminds me of the good old days of Warhammer Fantasy battles, because that was where I really got into wargaming, and that's what made me really like this hobby. Frostgrave. Okay, so I can't recall if it was you or if it was a different commenter who recommended Frostgrave to me. I haven't bit the bullet yet, because I've been doing this. But I'm interested basically going to one-page rule. The one-page rules route has made me think, okay, it's okay to look at other games. Maybe you can have fun playing games that aren't Warhammer. And that's kind of been the revelation for me has been, oh, maybe I can play some of those other games and still enjoy wargaming. Now, is Death Wizards... I don't know what Death Wizards is. Is it another game system? Is it a team for Frostgraves? I would love to be educated, because I am a decent nerd. I create so many models. I think I have been able to curb my spending for 3D printed STLs by Snarling Badger Studios. Very cool. I think I've been able to curb my spending for all these STLs that I found myself buying a lot of by subscribing to what is now 3, 1 tribe, 2 Patreons, who are releasing a mix of fantasy models and sci-fi models, and just kind of limiting myself, quote unquote, limiting myself to what is they are producing right now. And between them, it's a whole lot of variety, and sci-fi and fantasy. And I think that's kind of like scratching my itch without me breaking the bank to be like, I should buy another army. Because, oh boy, did I buy a lot of STLs starting out in this. One would say I bought too many. I definitely think I bought too many. But I've printed near everything that I have purchased, and that feels good to... Yeah, my manufacturer has way too much. And it all looks cool, which is unfortunate. I have been good about printing what I buy, and this YouTube channel has been my attempt to stay up to date on painting what I print. It feels like accountability. I'm treating it like accountability. How about that? I'm saying, okay, I have these models. I really like them. I'm going to buy them, print them, paint them, and then battle report with them. That way I can say, hey, look, there is method to the madness, and this is me getting back into the hobby and just really enjoying. You know, Brian, you say you wish you were good about that. It's okay. Because I've also... I blame wife and kids. Mine are currently not home, hence a hobby stream. So I get that. I get that. I have convinced, well, future wife. I have convinced future wife to play some games with me of Age of Fantasy, and that's been really fun. She's enjoyed that. And for Father's Day, we're going to spend some time painting. I asked what I wanted to do, and I told them I wanted to paint. I wanted to be nerdy together. And so that is what we're going to do. We're going to eat some fajitas and paint some minis. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like just the best Father's Day to me. And so that's what we're going to end up doing. It's going to be really fun. Because all my kids have an Age of Fantasy army that they have adopted, be it Stormcast, Night Haunts, or Orcs. That's what they've adopted there. And so that's been really fun to watch them paint and play. And it gives me a good excuse to spend time with them. Hey y'all, let's paint. Alright, big fan of what's happening here with the orange. Because I saw these guys. I saw an Imperial. Now I can't remember what they used to be called. Astra Militarum is what they are now. I saw these space dudes with a really cool gray and purple theme, and I thought that looked really, really good when I was just looking up themes to paint or color schemes. And I thought, what if I did gray and orange? And so that's why I have landed on the color schemes that I have here, because gray, this gray cloth with the orange armor pads, I think it's going to look really great once I get it all painted up. And so that is the goal. Have them all painted up this way. The only issue is I'm trying to figure out what to do with the tanks. You know, do I do tanks all orange because it's sci-fi and it doesn't really matter who needs camo when you're got so many tanks coming down at you, or do I do tanks dark gray and do them dark gray and do some orange highlights? I am trying to figure out the best method for that, of like what I want to do. So I got to figure that part out still and see what that's going to look like. I always love this is one of my favorite parts. Did the rifle print on the base? No, that was my embellishment. So these guys came from Creed miniatures on Colts 3D. These were actually like my first guys to print on the resin printer. Were tons, and I mean like 60 army dudes. So just a whole bunch of these army guys. Those were my first prints on my resin printer, and they're from Creed's miniatures on Colts 3D. They're the Ultima Guard, and I really liked how they turned out. Mostly because I liked their special weapons. I like their special weapons better than the other one. Now I've got all of my, for some reason, all of my guard, Imperial Guard, that's the name. My goodness, my brain today. All of my Imperial Guard has come from Colts 3D. I haven't found, well, until I subscribed to the tribe of Station Forge. Ooh, I'm a part of their tribe now. Until I got with their tribe, I hadn't found any that I was super impressed with on my mini factory. But Station Forge actually is really great. Their minis, their Imperial Guard guys are really fun. But I'm not going to print more because I have already printed these. Why would I print more when I have these already? Oh no, don't drop it. And so, yeah, I really liked how they turned out. But then there's another creator on Colts 3D who has some really good Imperial Guard tanks. And I have been slowly collecting them. Discounting what I previously said about being better about not spending money. Station Forge wants so much of my money. Yeah. I have so here are my 3 that I'm going to stick with, and I think this is just going to be my hobby budget for the foreseeable future. Station Forge, one-page rules, and Beholder. The 7 tribes for 7 sin, 1 sin for 7 nations. I don't know. So that's a whole lot of sci-fi, a whole lot of fantasy, and a whole lot of miniatures for me to be printing and painting. And it should scratch all of my hobby itches, I think. And I will reevaluate my money choices probably in a month or 2 and see if it's actually worthwhile for me to be involved in all 3 of those, or if that's just too overwhelming. I don't know. I want to make good financial choices. Beholder is on my mini factory. Double check here. They're the ones, they have just a whole bunch of fantasy models, which again, them being fantasy being like my bread and butter. Let's scroll to their June release. The Beholder miniatures. 1 sin for 7 kingdoms is their high fantasy universe, and it's a blast. Like, it's some good stuff. That's where the Stormcast came from. These guys. And the Stormcast was the reason that I subscribed to them in the first one. OPR does so much. And I think this is not our OPR's fault. If OPR had gone to a fantasy army that wasn't another death, I guess in that death line, I might have been fine with just sticking with them. And I've printed a lot of the Vampiric Undead. I'm excited about getting a 1,000-point army of them up and painted and ready to play with. Because I have them printed. I am working on painting them. And if they had gone to, I kind of want to say any other faction for their fantasy, I might have stuck with them. But man, the Vampiric Undead were great. They were good. But I found OPR in order to buy their Empire line. And then I just thought they were great. And the Shadow Stalkers look really cool. And I have them loaded up on my USB. I'm going to start printing some of them tonight. But I just wanted, if they had done a good guy faction, does that make sense? A good guy faction, I think I would have been satiated. But they did not. It's no fault of their own. They're their business. They decided that was going to be the best faction to go to next, which Shadow Stalkers, and they do look cool. It's a really neat, unique army, and I'm excited about playing with them. But it made me go looking for other fantasy armies to play with and experiment with. And so that's where I am. Oh, I'm loving the High Elf fleets. I'm really excited for bikes, like when they print their bikes. That's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited for that. And their walkers and stuff like that, the walkers that they previewed for this next month. That's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see what they do there. If they had made... one of my daughters plays... what's the ghost one? Night Haunts. If they had gone Night Haunts, that might have made me stick around too, just for printing stuff for her, because that's her army that she really likes, her ghosties. And so, yeah, I'm real excited for the rest of the high elf fleet stuff, and I've been pretty good to print at least a unit of them each time. I saw their warp spider equivalents. Those guys look cool. They just previewed those on their Patreon, I think yesterday. I love me some fast moving foot infantry. Because what I'd really love to do is have an army painted up each month to do a battle report on. Does that seem overly ambitious? Yes. I recognize that. Is it what I'd like to do? Sure. I don't know. Oh no! Disaster! Oh no! He broke right off. Oh man. Okay, well, what you can do. Speaking of resin gluing. Actually, Brian, all of my bases are FDM. Do you resin print your bases? Because all of my bases are FDM printed, not resin printed, because that seemed, at the time, it seemed like not a great idea to spend resin printing bases. However, now that I spend time basing my bases, right, and putting that basing material on there, I'm wondering if that would be better. I don't know. All right, what? We're looking at an hour here. Yeah. Okay, so you only have the resin printer. The FDM printer is not technically mine. It belongs to my children. It was a Christmas gift to them. And since I'm the one who buys the filament for it, I feel no scruples printing my bases. There was a while when I was printing these, you can kind of see all this texture there on the back. There's a while where I put the rim of the base as the bottom. And then I've started printing with this on the plate, and it's been much better. Some of the bases that I've seen resin printed look really cool. Yeah, it felt like I could do it for a little cheaper with FDM and have it feel a little better at the end result, because my resin printer can handle miniatures, and my FDM, I've tried printing miniatures on the FDM, a couple different things, and it just never came out right. It didn't look great. Yeah, when you want to base a mini and you don't have any other options, you print bases for there. And OPR does have the really cool textured bases for each faction, which I think look really dope and could be really great if you texture it right and you put it on there correctly and all that kind of stuff. They could look really cool, but you have to use that resin, man. And it just felt weird using resin for my bases when I could instead not. I'll tell you, I've learned a lot though in this. A lot of experimenting, a lot of failing forward, because I have felt the freedom to mess up, as opposed to when I had just Games Workshop miniatures. Man. And you joined OPR at the end of Demons and the Sauron armies. Oh, yeah. Those would be great. Those are really cool. I'm trying to limit myself, but I did go and buy, when they had their Trials of Talaxi set, I kickstarted that, or whatever my mini factory's version of Kickstart is. So I have those Duchies of Vinci. I have the cool Autonoma armies and the Saurons. I do not have Demons. I'll tell you though, their welcome packs have been pretty cool. Like when they come up. Ratman and Sisters were your first full armies. Yeah. I like the Sisters one. I did buy that one set for Sisters. With that whole battle report that I did for Sisters, that was mostly just the one set of one of their bundles, as well as I think I had to purchase the Warriors separately. The issue ends up being, oh man, I'm a part of their Patreon, so it's only half off, so I can buy 2 files instead of 1, or I can just spend another $5 here, and then I get to explain to my loved ones why I have so many armies now printed and what's going on there. Yeah, that deal for Duchies was really good. Because it was basically Army 1 and Army 2. Oh, I'm just now realizing this guy does not have the orange painted there. He does not have his chest plate painted. Man, gotta get that painted there. Okay, this guy's cool. I love an Imperial Fist with an Imperial Guard with a Power Fist. I love the Everyman. I love just the dude. But having them with a Power Fist, heck yeah. All right. We're coming good. We're doing good. I think be able to do this. I go check on dinner for the family, because it's lasagna tonight. How did I get the entire human kingdom? Their 70% off Christmas sale. When OPR, I joined in December, mostly because of the Christmas sale, and I saw that everything was going to be 70% off. And when I saw it was 70% off, I did the math, and I was like, I do not want to buy one Spearhead box for $130 from Games Workshop, because I saw I love those models. They look so dang cool. But I was like, okay, do I really want to buy one box for $130? Or do I want to buy 3 whole gosh dang armies for $150 because everything was 70% off? And so I did that. So that's how I got the human range. by exploiting their 70% off sale. And I am concerned when they have another 70% off sale that we might need to go into marital counseling. But we'll see. Yeah, because that 70% off sale was just too good. So basically, I bought all 3 human armies on their website when they did that. And I think with 70% off, it was like $100 for all 3, which means I could print as many Imperial dudes as I wanted. And for the guy who has a ton of Empire guys and knows just how expensive it is to have / maintain a Horde army, I was like, oh man, Merry Christmas to me. And so that's what I did. That's how I got into there. And that's how I first stumbled upon my, not Dice Goblin issues, but my STL Goblin issues. So that is when I discovered that 3D printing is a whole lot of fun. But I talked about that on my real cost of 3D printing, where I detailed all of the STL files that I spent. And I spent a lot of money. Yeah, I had a friend who played Tomb Kings when we were playing Warhammer Fantasy Battles in college. And those are some cool models, man. And OPRs look super cool. So I totally get getting into buying the STLs of an army because nostalgia reasons. That was me for sure. I was there. Okay, I'm gonna finish painting these 2 guys here, and if I am able, I'll paint his chest. I'm gonna call it for today because it's about an hour painting, hour streaming, maybe 30 minutes of actual painting, because we started having a hard time trying to glue these Stormcast guys. I wonder if I could take them down to my garage where I have my printer and try to resin glue them there with my setup. I wonder if I could make that happen before the masses come home. And we eat lasagna. Because the more I talk about eating lasagna, the more hungry I get. And oh man, I'm an old man when it comes to dinner, because I'm just hungry all the time. I want to eat dinner at 4:30, which is not 4:30 right now. It is 4:45, so I can eat dinner because that's not old person time. But will I eat dinner at 5 o'clock? Probably. If the lasagna's done, I sure will. And then we got a movie night tonight. I think we're watching... What are we watching? Greatest Showman. I think that's what we're watching tonight. Yay, summer. Oh, it's going to be a good time. I need to... Yeah, I'll look up Amazon's UV flashlights and see if I can grab one of them. And try not to ruin my brush. But if you just got those like pack of brushes, I'm sure every hobbyist has those pack of brushes that are dirt cheap. You got them at Walmart for like $3 for 10, right? Those would probably be fine for what it is we're doing here. For getting resin onto your guys so you can get your guys into fighting condition. Oh, and what I'm really looking forward to with my Stormcast is I've got like a bronze spray paint that I'm going to do them in instead of gold. And so that's going to be fun. I'm going to definitely do that. Yeah, steal the kids when they aren't looking. That's called kidnapping, Brian. No, it's not. I know what you're talking about. Here's a great thing about playing with your army on YouTube / as opponent. I'm not a fantastic painter. I am fine. I am decent. But the having these guys painted like to this standard right here. Hey, look at that guy. Look at him down there holding down the fort. Charge. Look at these. Look at these. Look at these mortar guys over here. Man, they look fine. I really appreciate painting up to tabletop standard. Okay, I am going to do this with him. This is supposed to be a gluing stream, so we are going to glue one guy back onto his base. You get to go back on your base. Because I have my glue, and you're right there. Might as well. Are you going to stand up, or do I need to prop you up against something? You have to lean against something. Well, there you go, buddy. Lean against that. All right, who's the one? You're the one. For some reason, did not paint his chest. Paint his chest. And we're going to call this stream for today. Because I want to get dinner around and be around when everybody gets home. Because let's not hobby to the detriment of our families. Let's have fun. Let's hobby with our families. Brian, you asked, do I use the baking soda technique? I have no idea what it is you're talking about. I would love to be enlightened. Please enlighten me on the baking soda technique. What it is and what you mean. All right. Every now and then you look down at your menu and you're like, how did I miss that? How did I forget to paint that guy? That seems really obvious. I guess if you're batch painting like I do, sometimes you're just going to skip things. It reacts with CA glue and tries to harden faster. Really? Okay. I am unsure of the baking soda technique, but I'm going to try it now because that sounds great. I'll use any trick I can have. Any trick out there. Okay, now I'm holding you. I'm going to go ahead and paint you too. So what I've got right here is basically one. Let me bring it into frame. Ugh. Here we go. 2, 3. Where are you at? How do I get you in the frame? Move around, microphone. 4. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 200-point firefight armies. So what I'm hoping to do is record a couple of those and have them uploaded for the channel. So you can have some different units fighting and firefight. I get to see a couple different armies represented. And because it's only 200 points,
or 200 points is the max that I've given myself, and give us a chance to see some variety, which I think would be really fun. Makes for a good YouTube challenge, right?
This is my Dwarven Runeforge. There you go. Leaves a bit of dusty look, but for bases ends up looking like ground texture. No, I'm definitely gonna look at that. So baking soda for basing. Heck yeah. Give that a shot. Give that a look. Okay, well, we came on to glue some guys. Didn't work out. I'm going to get to that a little bit later. But did I end up putting some paints on some minis? Sure did. Heck yeah. And that is great. Now that I've got some paint on some minis, I feel really good. Just doing a little bit more at a time. We'll get the army painted. Don't have to paint the army all in one go like I would like to. Like I am probably prone to attempting to do so myself. But that's what we're going to leave it today. Hey, Brian. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much. If you're watching this later on. Hey, grumpy old G. Hey, man. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're watching. Enjoy. Hey, thanks so much. If you're watching out there later on, put this on, paint, stream away. Don't worry if the plan doesn't work out all the time. Adapt. Have fun. Hobby around. Hey, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for watching, for hanging out. We'll see you later.